Hi guys, this tutorial is going to show you how to create basic web forms in HTML. Now before we get started, I'm going to load the W3Schools website and go to HTML forms. The description on the W3Schools website on how to use forms is really the be all and end all. You're not going to find any better examples where you can test the code yourself, make changes, and view those changes in the browser. So load in your preferred browser HTML forms on W3Schools, and the first example text input I want you to choose try it yourself. Okay, so you can see we've got a first name and a last name here. If I go back to the W3Schools website for a moment, you'll see that there's HTML form elements. Okay, we've got a drop list here. Alright, this will show us what a drop list can look like. And you'll see that all of these examples really don't have all that much code associated with them. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to go back to HTML forms and I want us to try editing this basic form here. Now, in the examples, they use a lot of break tags. That's not necessarily the best way to do things, as you probably know by now. So I'm going to show you a quick way that you can still have your forms look good. If I take these break tags out, you'll see that we get a bit of a mess over here. And we don't want that. We want them neatly listed in as block elements. So let's just put in a little bit of CSS up here that will handle that for us. There is an excellent example of a very simple web form available through Moodle as well that you can use. So because we're using input elements here, I'm going to target input in my CSS, and I'm just going to say that I want the display to be block, and that will make all input elements block-like, and we might still have to put a bit of margin or some padding on something. That's pretty good. That looks pretty good. You probably should really have some p tags around these to help Google read your page. And it's not the end of the world if you don't, but I'm going to add some. And that will probably put some spacing between. The paragraph tag comes with built-in margin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of negative margin on the top of my block elements. Okay, and let's see, what do we want? Minus 10 pixels. Start with that. Have a look. Alright, beautiful. That looks neat and tidy. Okay, now I can take as many of these as I want and make simple changes to them. You're going to use these forms later in other subjects to do some programming, build some databases and all sorts of cool stuff. But for now, we just want static forms. Forms that you can see, but you can't really submit them or do anything. So this might become, let's just swap these around. And we might make this date of birth. Okay, now date of birth, I mean, we could ask users to give us their date of birth in a text field. Might not be optimal. Study all the fields on W3C and have a look. Have a play around in here, and soon I'm going to show you I can take all this code, just chuck it into Dreamweaver, nice and easy, and you'll be away. Now, I'm going to put a placeholder in this one. Placeholder equals example 01 01 1990. Okay, I'm going to show the user how I want. Why didn't that work? Oopsie. I'm going to show the user how I want them to put their date of birth in. Okay, so don't overcomplicate it. There's some really nice drop-down list examples in the form that you've got access to through Moodle. And you might want to have a look back on the W3Schools website, see what other input types they have, okay? So have a look at some other input types here.